Okay, here's our new to us canoe that we picked up off Craigslist because hunting season's almost over and camping season is fixing to be upon us. Got a pretty good deal on it. It floats, we already tested it. But the rascal weighs 80 pounds. So, I wanted a canoe cart. They're about 30 bucks. But I had this old game cart, and you can see that the old hard rubber tires on it rotted off. And I've had it out there in the barn for years. My wife asking me why I didn't get rid of it. Well, now we know why I didn't get rid of it. I'm fixing to make this into a canoe cart to haul my canoe down to the river. The only trick to these things is that the axle shafts are 3/4 inch, or at least on mine it was. And all the small rubber wheels are 5/8 shaft. So, lucky me, my father-in-law owns a welding shop, and we're going to get the ends of the shaft turned down to 5/8 so I can put the $5 Harbor Freight tools. So now, a $30 canoe cart is going to end up costing us about $10 plus tax. So, I'll take a few pictures along the way and get it up so you guys can see what you can do with an old game cart instead of throwing it away. Okay, so I picked up some parts this weekend, and there are my wheels, and I bought a pool noodle, and that's parts that came off the cart, and I've already had my axles turned on it. So it's going to end up costing me a little more than 10 bucks, but what the heck. I figured the pool noodle would be a little better cushion than just a piece of pipe insulation that I had laying around here. So these are my Harbor Freight wheels. Instead of being $4.99, they were $5.99 because I opted to go ahead and get the black wheels instead of paying for spray paint, and the paint probably peel off a lot faster. So I'll remove this wheel right quick. And you can see the axle there that I've had turned down from 3/4 down to the 5/8. And I left the pinholes in it because my father-in-law, or actually my brother-in-law, is a pretty good machinist, so he was able to leave my pinholes. See if I can stick this wheel on and keep the camera going. Yep, fits pretty good. I'll just stack me a couple of washers on there for spacers, but other than that, it'll work. It's easier to stack washers than to cut that shaft off and re-drill a pin, so I've got washers laying around here, so why not just stick them on there instead of doing all the other work. Okay, new wheels are installed. Rolls just fine. Maybe a washer or two spacer here and there, but anyways, when I used it for a game cart a long time ago, I had wrapped all these pins with rubber tape, so I'll take all of that off. So all of these pins will come in and out easily. And as you can see, this one, the one opposite, you pull the pins out, it all folds up flat, and the wheels will come off for storage in the camper and that type of thing. Next project's going to be removing this handle, and I will probably, this is just unbolt, you can see here, and I will probably cut this rung off on each side to make it even and a little more low profile than it was, because I'll be cutting almost 7 inches or so off of there, so that'll drop it down a little lower, make it a little more low profile and streamlined. So we'll get on that and get back later. Alright, here's the kind of the first mock-up. As you'll notice in any videos to come in the future, I am not an engineer. I generally have to do a mock-up and sit back and look at it and think about it a while. But anyways, What I noticed when I started pulling pins out of this thing was that this bracket right here for the pin, which holds this support rod, that kind of keeps everything stable and together, keeps it from flopping. Well, you look at this one, and it's mounted above this bar that I wanted to take off. On this side, it is mounted below the bar that is equal to the other one. So, what I've decided to do is, since I still want to do this, and this is mainly just to make it more compact, because even with cutting this bar off and using these two, having these two being the top bars, it will still have a greater ground clearance than anything I could buy for 30 bucks. And it came to my mind that I now have some more of these Jim Dandy little hitch pins around here, which are always handy for something to add to the collection. But two of them will be reused. The one that came from here, I'll bring down here, and you can see there's already a hole that this is run through here on this tube. What I'll do is get all of this in the position I want to with the correct height and all that, and clamp it as so in position, mark everything, and I'll drill a hole through this tube right here that this pin will go through. Now when I go to fold it up, I may bolt that, but I'll probably just leave that pin there since I've got it. What that'll allow me to do is pull this pin. This stabilizer brace will fold out of the way. The whole thing will clamshell in half. And if I want to, I can pull the wheels off just by taking these two pins off right here. So it folds up and be small and fairly compact to put inside the storage on the camper. And that's probably where it'll live most of the time. But anyways, I've got the handle still attached on there, just kind of a kickstand right now for while I'm mocking all this up. So we'll get some marks and measurements and that kind of stuff and figure out where we're going to go from here, which is just going to be lining everything up, cutting tubing, and drilling holes. Alright, here we go. We've about got it all roughed out and ready for finish. Of course, like I said, I'm not an engineer, so I got in there, and after I thought about it for a while, I realized that I really didn't want it to set as high off the ground as I'd originally planned. So I went ahead and cut it down to the next rung, which will give it a lower center of gravity, because I had not allowed for the height of the canoe itself to, as far as pulling it, I would have had to, be holding it up around my waist instead of being able to pull it like a wagon at arm's length. But you can see I cut it down to the next round, re-drilled holes in the braces to accept the pins, so it still dismantles, folds up. And one advantage of cutting the tubing was I was able to cut me some 5/8 inch ID spacers instead of stacking washers there. So at this point, we'll disassemble it again, which is really simple. Just pull the 4 pins and it's in pieces. Disassemble it, put a little fresh paint on it, put the pool noodles on it, and I've got a couple of eye bolts I'm going to put here and mount back here somewhere, because I like the idea of having 2 points to strap it on. So this will be my front point, and then that'll be my rear point for strapping onto the canoe onto the cart. And like I said, put some pool noodles on it and paint it, and we'll go from there. Right now I gotta get ready to go for work. Alright, there it is, all finished. I ended up cutting it down a little more than I wanted to because I started having center of gravity concerns. There's the pool noodles wrapped around there. I split them so that the keel would fit down in between them, a little more cushion, and pins on the wheels. You notice I painted the assembly pins a fluorescent orange color because I found that when I was working on this thing, every time I take the pins out, and lay them down, I'd lose them in the grass. There's a couple of eye bolts down there for the attachment to the front, and I can attach to the back here, or directly to the bar toward this bracket back here. So next step, attach it to the canoe and see how she goes. Alright, here it is, mounted under the canoe. So far so good, seems to be working like a champ. Had a couple straps laying around, just grabbed those, strapped it to the bottom. See how she goes. Look at that. Just rolls around like it's what she's made to do. That's what we wanted. So, here we are. Got a canoe cart. Start taking this rascal to the river. Thanks for watching.